Hello students and welcome to SmartKidz tutorials. In this video we will be going through Goa Board's science paper that came in November 2022 as part of the term 1 SSC examination. Let's begin. So let's quickly go through the instructions first and overall whatever is given in the first page. This was for 1.5 hours and 40 marks. Totally, there were 40 questions printed on 16 pages. Instructions given are: the question paper consists of 40 multiple choice or objective type questions. All questions are compulsory. Every question has 4 choices for its answer: A, B, C and D, and only one of them is correct. Select the one that you consider to be the most appropriate answer among the 4 choices. Each correct answer will carry 1 mark. There will be no negative marking for the wrong answer. So this last point is a very important point, that there is no negative marking for any wrong answer, which should motivate you to answer all of the questions that are in front of you. So there are answers in front of you, as in there's only one answer, but you can choose the one that you feel the most appropriate one, which you feel may be the answer if you are not sure of which answer. In case if you are wrong, no problem, you will not get any mark, but there won't be any negative marking. So there's no harm in giving it a try and marking something that you feel might be correct. If you're lucky enough, then you may end up getting a full mark for the question that you had no clue about. Okay, so let's begin. And for those who are watching to go through, prepare for the examination for this, going through this paper in order to prepare in the future, then I would say look forward to answering each and every question. Let's begin. First question: reaction of water with quicklime is an example of exothermic reaction. Okay, so you should know quicklime is also called is actually calcium oxide. So when it reacts with water, it forms calcium hydroxide, and the reaction of water with quicklime leads to a large amount of energy that is released. Hence, this is an exothermic reaction. Next question: which among the following is an olfactory receptor? Olfactory receptor means, olfactory means where smell is involved, nose is involved. Answer is vanilla. So vanilla is an olfactory indicator, and it has 2 different smells in the presence of acid and base. In the presence of acid, it retains its vanilla smell, whereas in case when it in the presence of base, it loses its smell completely. Okay. Next, hydrogen ions cannot exist alone. Hence, it is always shown as. Now, over here, if you have a look, choice A and choice C are the same. Okay. Now, that's a typing error. Now, it is up to this leads to confusion. So it is up to the Goa board then to decide whether to give you a mark or not. So in my opinion, they should be giving you a mark for this, irrespective of which choice you have chosen, provided you have attempted the question. Okay, because this amounts to confusion. But actually the answer would be C or A is the correct one. That is the hydronium ion. Okay, so the hydrogen atom, after losing an electron, becomes highly unstable. Basically, that doesn't happen, but because it has only one, electron to lose, so then it ceases existence. So because it can't do that, it's not available as a free hydrogen ion. Rather, it is present in the aqueous solution as a hydronium ion, along with oxygen. Next question. Sonali had tooth decay because her pH of the mouth was lower than 5.5. So when it goes below 5.5, it promotes tooth decay. Next question. Fuel used in thermal power plant is fossil fuel. So fossil fuel consists of dead decaying matter, okay, over a period of years, dead decaying living matter. At the thermal power plant, fossil fuels are used to heat water in order to form steam, basically burning of wood and so forth, coal, which powers the turbine to generate electrical energy. And as they produce a large amount of energy, fossil fuels are used in thermal power plants. Sixth question, magnesium ribbon is rubbed before burning because it has a coating of magnesium oxide. So magnesium ribbon needs to be cleansed before burning in air because it has a layer of magnesium oxide. So magnesium easily combines with oxygen to form magnesium oxide. So this needs to be cleansed, okay, so that the further reaction takes place. And this is the reaction basically that needs to happen. Magnesium combining with oxygen, okay, to form magnesium oxide. So remember, it needs to be cleansed because there's a coating of magnesium oxide. 7. Barium chloride reacts with sulfuric acid to give barium sulfate and hydrochloric acid. The balance equation is here you go. So barium chloride BaCl2 reacting with sulfuric acid H2SO4. This will give us barium sulfate plus hydrochloric acid. Next, a part of the solar cooker which is responsible for greenhouse effect is the glass sheet. Remember the glass sheet that is present, it allows light to penetrate to the cooker, so allow entry of light. This radiation later is converted to longer wavelengths by the coating in the cooker. This longer wavelength then is prevented from escaping by this glass, as a result of which see, light brings with it heat. Okay, light is a form of energy and heat is also a form of energy. So when light enters, heat also enters. So when it is not allowed to escape, that builds up, the heat builds up, allowing the solar cooker to function. That means to cook. Its main purpose is to cook the food which is kept inside. So the glass plate helps in trapping this solar radiation, thereby creating a greenhouse effect where the heat increases. Ninth question, the gas liberated when a metal reacts with a base is hydrogen. Okay, so this is an example that will tell you how hydrogen gas is liberated. Even when an acid reacts with a metal, hydrogen gas is given out. So here you have an example of zinc reacting with sodium hydroxide. Zinc is a metal, sodium hydroxide is a strong base, okay, in the presence of water, and gives us sodium zincate, okay, with the liberation of hydrogen gas. 10th question, a slurry which is removed from the biogas plant is rich in nitrogen and phosphorus. 11th question, the function of part A seen in the figure is, so first we need to identify what is actually part A. If we know what is part A, then we will know its function as well. Okay, so here it says, here we are not asked to pinpoint what that part is, but rather what does it do. So information is acquired at its end. So these are basically the dendrites, okay, and dendrites receive message from the surrounding and sends it to the cell body, which is over here. 12th, an alloy of copper and zinc is brass. 13th question, that is sodium sulfate or Na2SO4 reacting with barium chloride BaCl2 gives us common salt, that is sodium chloride and barium sulfate. And it says in this reaction the precipitate obtained is white precipitate of barium sulfate. Okay, so when you mix these two, what you get is a white precipitate, an insoluble solid. Okay. 14. Changes in the environment due to which an organism responds is called stimulus. Iron Fe reacts with copper sulfate CuSO4 to give us ferrous sulfate FeSO4 plus copper. So the less reactive metal in the above is copper. So you can clearly see here iron is actually displacing copper from its salt solution, okay, and taking its place. So then you have copper coming out, okay. So obviously if you know the reactivity series, then you should be able to tell. Here's the reactivity series. If you notice over here, copper is below and you have iron above it, ferrum it says, okay. So because iron is above it, it has more activity, as a result of which it can easily displace copper from its salt solution. 16. A part of the brain which controls breathing in human body is medulla. Okay, medulla is the behind portion, medulla oblongata. 17. A process of changing carbonate ores into oxides in limited supply of oxygen is calcination. Okay, when it involves carbonates, it involves calcination. C for carbonate, C for calcination, and limited supply. Wherein there is a large amount of supply, and that too for obtaining sulfide, then you have roasting taking place. Okay. 18 question. A method of contraception which protects from acquiring sexually transmitted disease. So copper T is inserted inside. Okay, so it's not inside a female reproductive part. So clearly it's not going to prevent AIDS, something like AIDS, which is sexually transmitted disease. Of course, it's going to prevent pregnancy, but it's not going to prevent sexually transmitted. Same goes for oral pills. These are contraceptives which are designed to prevent pregnancy. You have surgery can which over here obviously in this context would be referring to either vasectomy or tuberectomy. Either of these are not going to protect you from sexually transmitted disease. So the only one over here should be condoms. 19th, an electric motor takes 15 amps from 220 volt line. Its energy consumed in 2 hours will be 6.6 kilowatt hour. We'll have a look at the calculation, how we come to this particular answer. So the supplied voltage is 220 volt. Okay, the current that is passing through the motor is 15 amps, and the time of consumption, that means energy consumption, is 2 hours. Okay, so if we are looking to calculation first of the power, since we have been given voltage and we have been given current, we can calculate the power, and that is P equal to V into I. That means power equal to potential difference of voltage into current. That comes to 220 into 15, which comes to 3,300 watt. So that is the power. But we need to know the calculation of energy consumption. So the formula for that is energy consumed is equal to the amount of power supplied and the time taken. So that is 3,300 watts into 2 hours. That comes to 6,600 watt hour. But we need it in terms of kilowatt hour, right? So then it becomes 6.6 kilowatt hour, because 1 kilowatt is 1 kilowatt is watt hour is 1000 watt. 1 kilo is actually 1000. So this, if it was just 6000 watt hour, then it would have been 6 kilowatt. Because it is 6600, we can write it as 6.6 kilowatt hour. Okay, so the correct answer is, or correct option is C. 20th question. Banana, jasmine and orange have lost their capacity to produce seeds. A hormone which regulates carbohydrates, proteins and fat metabolism in our body is thyroxine. Okay, so testosterone not dealing with it, adrenaline is also not dealing with it, and insulin with respect to just sugar. 22nd, the slope of potential difference versus current gives the value of, answer is resistance. Okay. I know that some students might be confused over here, some may not be aware of this graph, and the most obvious thing, going by Ohm's law, they would have chosen resistance. But if you carefully have a look, so over here, okay, you have been given a graph of potential difference versus current. Okay, if you, because it is given this way, it comes the where this slope, this is the slope. Okay, this slope is equivalent to the resistance. However, if just to bring it to the attention, and for those who are watching in the future, okay, if this was reversed, that means if this current was on y-axis and potential difference was on x-axis, then you would have actually got 1 upon r. Okay, and 1 upon r is not resistance, rather it is conductance. So it would have referred to the conductivity and not resistance. So, but because it is V upon I, okay, that is voltage versus current, that gives us resistance. Okay, because we know as per Ohm's law, it is V equal to I into R. So if we take that I down, then V upon I gives us equivalent to resistance. Okay, so resistance is the correct answer. Here you go. In a VI graph, voltage is marked on the y-axis and current on the x-axis. Okay, so the slope which is there is actually y upon x. So if y here refers to V and x here refers to I, which is the current, and that is equivalent to, see, as per the Ohm's law, if we match this two, we get this y upon x equal to R, or V upon I equal to R. R is resistance. Therefore, the slope of the V voltage current graph is representing resistance. Next question, if water is added to a concentrated nitric acid, the mixture splashes out causing burns because it is a highly dash reaction. You have to understand one thing, we have discussed this also in the past, wherein if you add water to an acid, that is a concentrated acid, not a dilute acid, then it will lead to the acid splashing onto you, causing you burns, injuries. Okay, because it is actually, it becomes a exothermic reaction. A lot of heat is generated in this. So when it comes to dilution of this concentrated acids, then the acid is added to water, that too drop by drop, and that too in a container which can sustain the heat, because anyways the heat is formed or generated. Okay, so the answer is exothermic. 24th question, type of reproduction seen in Hydra is budding. 25th question, the egg is carried from the ovary to the womb through a thin tube called, okay, this is actually a very easy question, but for some who may not know, you can easily rule out ureter. Ureter is really is actually what it does is just carries the urine from the kidney to the urinary bladder. Ureter, urine, rule that out. What about vas deferens? Vas deferens is present in male testicle, so rule that part of the male. Esophagus is dealing with your alimentary canal, so rule that out also. The only thing here is the oviduct, okay, oviduct, ovary, so that has gotten, so it should strike or ring a bell, okay, that is referring to the oviduct. Next question, when calcium reacts with water, it starts floating because bubbles of hydrogen are formed, okay, on top. 27, deficiency of growth hormone leads to dwarfism. A gland which secretes this hormone is pituitary. It is the pituitary gland, also known as the master gland of the body, which secretes this growth hormone. So if it is in less quantities, then the child will become dwarf or short in stature. If too much of it is secreted, then the person will become tall, a giant. Okay, so it should be secreted in moderate amounts or in the required amounts, as I would say, depending on various factors. We will not get into that. Just need to know that it is a pituitary gland, the answer over here. 28th question. A circuit has a charge of 3 coulombs moving through it in 4 seconds. An electrical component will show the current as, let's look at the answer, 0.75 ampere. Let's look at the calculation. This is a calculation of what do you say, the current, rather what we from our textbook we get it as the calculation of a charge. So that is Q equal to I into T. Because we are interested in finding the current, so we take it this way, I equal to Q upon T, where Q is the charge and the charge is 3 coulomb and the time that is there is 4 seconds. So 3 upon 4, in other words, gives us 0.75 ampere. Next, magnetic field lines around a current carrying straight conductor indicates a pattern of concentric circles. We'll have a look over here. So this is your current carrying straight conductor, okay, and the magnetic fields around it are concentric, or circles followed by more circles around it, okay, so giving you concentric circles. 30th, overloading is due to 2, 3, 4. Okay, what is 2? When the live wire and neutral wire come in contact, fault in the appliances, or due to accidental hike in supply water. So all 3 are responsible for overloading. Okay, and the first one we can roll out with the live wire and the earth wire coming in contact. So the correct answer is B, 2, 3 and 4. 31st, when an ova does not fertilize in females, the cycle which takes place is menstruation. Do not confuse between menstruation and menopause. Menopause is a full stop to the menstrual cycle. Menstruation takes place in this case when the egg does not meet the sperm. Next, the below given symbol of the electrical component is rheostat. Given a diagrammatic representation of Fleming's left-hand rule, letter A indicates the direction of field. There you go. So the thumb represents the thrust or motion. The middle finger indicates the current, and you have your finger over here which indicates the field. Okay. 34th question. A solenoid behaves like a magnet because magnetic field lines are in the form of parallel straight lines. So you have over here a solenoid, and it's referring to the part inside the solenoid where the magnetic field lines are straight. Okay, not the ones outside, but one inside the solenoid. They are representing straight parallel lines. 35th, a device which reverses the direction of flow of current in an electric motor is a commutator. You have your commutator here, and that is known to there to reverse the direction and flow of current in an electric motor. 36. Testes located in the scrotum are present outside the abdominal cavity because temperature of scrotum is less than the body temperature. So this the sperms require a temperature that is lower than the actual body temperature to grow, okay, to develop, and that is why you have this testis located. With testis is the area where sperms are generated, okay, produced. So that is why they are located in a scrotum which is present outside the body, as a result of which it has a temperature that is lower than the body temperature. 37. Sharma was advised by his physician to take less sugar in his diet as he was suffering from a disease called diabetes. 38. A period of adolescence when reproductive tissues begin to mature is puberty. So at puberty, you have this various signs like hair growth and voice change, and also with respect to formation of breasts and pubic hair and so forth. 39. An electric iron draws a current of 4 amps connected to 320 volt mains. Its resistance will be 80 ohms. Okay, let's look at the calculation. So current is given as 4 amps, voltage is given as 320 volts. By Ohm's law, we know V is equal to I into R, that is current into resistance. But we need to know the resistance, so that will have potential difference upon the current. Potential difference is 320, current is 4. So 320 divided by 4 gives us 80 ohms. Ohms is the unit of resistance. Next question, and the last question. Gases filled in an electric bulb in order to prolong the life of the filament are nitrogen and argon. So these are the gases that are present in the in an electric bulb to prevent the life of a filament. Okay. So with this we come to an end of this paper. I hope you have answered well, and for those who are looking to answer their paper in the future, I hope you've found it easy to follow. And if you have liked watching the videos, please do hit the like button. Share this video with as many friends and classmates as possible. Let them also benefit like you have. And if you haven't subscribed to the video, please do subscribe, because there will be many more videos like this that will be coming up in the future. Thanks for watching, and keep watching for more such videos. Thank you.